What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. It's the best sports capper on YouTube, where we have the best sports talks. Ironically, I just hit two $200 tickets last night, same game parlays for the NBA. So you guys let me know if you want me to make a separate Discord where I'll just show you guys what I'm picking. I won't hit you over the head too much for it. Probably be like $5, but just let me know if you want me to do that. In the meantime, I'll keep making picks on the shorts, on the YouTube shorts, so you can get to it quick and it's digestible and it's less than a minute. I might do a Discord thing too. Like I said, you guys let me know. But either way, that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is Josh Jacobs and the Green Bay Packers and the quote-unquote drama going on with the Green Bay Packers. And this is going to lead into something I kind of want to talk about anyway, which is how most Gen Z athletes get on my goddamn nerves. They are all prima donnas, almost all of them. And it's ridiculous because at least back in the day when you were going to be a prima donna receiver, you had to earn it, right? Like Terrell Owens had to earn it before he became a prima donna. Randy Moss earned it before he became a prima donna. Ocho Cinco earned it before he became a... So my issue with these kids today is they don't earn anything. They just come out, they run their mouths, they're demanding targets, they're talking about what the coach should be doing, what the team should be doing. And it's like, bro, you just got here. What makes you think you have the right to say that? Haven't accomplished nothing. And I say that to say this Josh Jacobs drama really shouldn't even be drama, because Josh Jacobs, first of all, let me establish this. Josh Jacobs is a top 5 running back in the NFL and pretty much has been consistently for the last 4 years. All right, this is a guy who's been all pro first team. This is a guy who's been to 3 Pro Bowls. This is a guy who's led the entire league in rushing. This is a very accomplished running back. So if he says something and you're not, 1, as accomplished as he is, or 2, haven't been in the league as long or at least longer than he has, then you should just shut up and listen. There shouldn't be a back and forth. Therefore, if Josh Jacobs decides to go on the show and say, hey, I think it could benefit the team if we had a wide receiver 1, he has the right to say it could benefit the team if we have a wide receiver 1. There should be no back and forth, and there should be no crying. There especially shouldn't be crying from receivers who have accomplished nothing. People are like, oh, there's drama in Green Bay. We don't think Josh Jacobs should have said this. Why? Because Dontavion Wicks, who led the entire team in drops, has a drop rate of like 25%. He didn't like the comment. Who cares what he liked? Let me explain something to you. Green Bay had the opportunity they have money now. So they had the opportunity to upgrade their wide receiver core, and they chose not to. They believed they had 3 people who were wide receiver 1 level, right? And I kind of did too, right? Because I'm a Packers fan myself, right? So I watch all sports, but I watch Packers a lot. I kind of did too. I was like, look, Christian Watson has a lot of potential if he could find a way to stay healthy. I could see him doing big things. I like Romeo Doubs as a strong wide receiver 2. I never really thought Romeo Doubs was wide receiver 1, but I liked him as a strong 2. I thought Jayden Reed had the potential to be one of the better slot receivers in the entire league. So I'm like, yeah, we can work with this. Dontavion Wicks was solid in his rookie year. We can work with this. Here's the problem. As a result of that, the team didn't get any receivers. They didn't draft any. They didn't sign any. They come into this season, and every single player on the team regressed. That's a wide receiver, except for Jayden Reed. Jayden Reed got better, started off the season looking amazing, then all of a sudden just fell off a cliff. Now, people want to say the issue with Romeo Doubs had nothing to do with the fact of wanting more targets. They tried to say it was a mental health thing. I don't know that I believe that, because it doesn't make sense to me that Jayden Reed started off the season so hot. All of a sudden, Romeo Doubs goes through this little drama. He leaves the team for the week, comes back, and Jayden Reed never looked the same after that. It's almost like Matt LaFleur stopped drawing up the offense to run around Jayden Reed. And Matt LaFleur is another problem. I like LaFleur, but I don't like LaFleur. But we'll get back into that later. So, with that being said, Christian Watson once again got injured. Once again hit about 600, 500 yards. He didn't progress at all. You're going into year 4. Your best season was still your rookie season. You have never looked better than you did your rookie season. And even your rookie season, you had drop problems and you were injured a lot. Romeo Doubs, same thing. He came back. This is going into his 4th year. He looks like the same player. He's going to get you about 400 to 600 yards. You know, now all of a sudden he has an injury problem with this concussion crap. And usually if you get 2 concussions in the season, now it's worth monitoring. You know, you might get 1, okay. But if you get 2 in 1 season, now we're starting to look at that like there might be an issue here. But he has not progressed at all. Now, Tavion Wicks had a great rookie season and regressed last year. He had the most drops on the team, a high drop rate percentage, and every time we needed him to step up, he didn't do it. So my thing is this. This is what you have to understand about Green Bay. When you have money, right, and you get an accelerated rebuild, the year before this year, right, Jordan Love's first year starting was supposed to be a rebuild year. He happened to figure it out midseason, got us into the playoffs, beat the Dallas Cowboys, almost beat the 49ers. So now you're like, okay, we're no longer rebuilding. This is a team that can win. You can tell that that's what the GM thinks because he went out and got Xavier McKinley, one of the best safeties in the entire league, and he paid him a bag. You don't pay one of the best players in the entire league $68-something million if you're rebuilding. You don't then go out and get Josh Jacobs and pay him $48 million if you're rebuilding. Green Bay is not in the rebuild. Green Bay is like, we can compete right now. This rebuild was very short. Jordan Love is good enough for us to win with. Let's go for it. With that being said, you go into the season, you didn't upgrade that receiver because you expected your receivers to get better. And outside of Jayden Reed, who in my opinion is a slot, a very good slot, but I don't think he's a wide receiver one because he's just too little. Either way, outside of him, no one progressed. Literally no one progressed. Christian Watson's not even going to be playing pretty much the whole next season again. So in my opinion, he should be gone. Like, he shouldn't even be a focus. Romeo Doubs is the same player he's been since his rookie season, and now he's got a concussion issue. Dontavion Wicks went backwards. Now, I think Dontavion Wicks will come back forward, but at the end of the day, again, you don't sign Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinley because you're willing to wait to win. You sign them because you want to win right now. So with that being said, these guys are coming in. They're like, we're coming into this team. It's a playoff team. We're coming here to be the thing that pushes them over the top to get them to a Super Bowl. Now, as it turns out, Green Bay lost to Philly, who went on to play in the Super Bowl right now. They'll be playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. So it's not like they got knocked out by some bumps. But at the end of the day, there was a gap between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. And two things that could really close that gap is another dominant edge rusher because Rashawn Gary is not consistent, and a wide receiver one. Now, what's interesting about Josh Jacobs is he's been saying that consistently. Hey, we need another dominant edge. Rashawn Gary hasn't gotten in his feelings. Rashawn Gary is a Pro Bowl player. Rashawn Gary has been in the league about as long as Josh Jacobs. So he would be more validated into getting into his feelings. But he didn't. He hasn't said anything. He understands, like, look, first of all, it doesn't hurt me. It helps me to have another edge here. Second of all, he's right. We need more edge help because Lucas Van Ness, as of right now, stinks. He was drafted to be that, and he's not. And we don't have time to wait for him. So let's replace him with another edge so we can compete right now. Same thing with wide receiver one. Hey, we drafted all these guys outside of Jayden Reed. None of them look like they can be wide receivers ones. So let's get a wide receiver one in here. Let's get an edge, right? And then we can get another corner. Because if you're asking my opinion, if I was Green Bay, I would package Jair Alexander, who appears to not want to be there anymore. And I would send him to the Raiders with maybe a second-round pick and get Max Crosby. Then just draft a cornerback. Corners tend to come in the league and do very well. So that's what I would do if I was Green Bay. Then just sign a wide receiver out in free agency or something. Or see if you can get DK Metcalf or something like that. But either way, you get yourself a dominant wide receiver one and another edge. Now you're on par with the Eagles and you're competing for a Super Bowl again. No one should be mad about this, right? Especially not Jayden Reed and Dontavion Wicks. Dontavion Wicks has never led the league in anything. Nothing. He doesn't even start. He's wide receiver 3 at best, really 4. So what are we talking about here? You should just be quiet. Jayden Reed, I like Jayden Reed, but has he won Rookie of the Year? No. Has he ever led the NFL in any statistical receiving category? No. Has he ever been in the Pro Bowl? No. Has he ever been All-Pro? No. So therefore, he shouldn't be talking. His mouth should be shut. Now, I like Jordan Love's response because Jordan Love doesn't get enough credit for his maturity level at his age. They ask him, what do you think about needing the wide receiver one? He's just like, I like the guys I have. But, of course, if we can get more guys in, that's always a good thing. That's what he's supposed to say. He said the right thing. He didn't ruffle any feathers. My problem is people are like, how come Josh Jacobs isn't talking the same way that Jordan Love did? He doesn't have to. Josh Jacobs is more established in this league than Jordan Love is too. I think Jordan Love's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I'll argue with y'all about that another day. But at the end of the day, Josh Jacobs, once again, top 5 running back, has led the entire league in rushing before, has been first team All-Pro, has been to 3 Pro Bowls. He's the most accomplished player on that offense. So therefore, if he says anything, no one should be saying anything to him. People should be listening to what he had to say. If anything, these soft-ass, weak-ass Gen Z wide receivers should take that as, okay, I'm going to train my ass off. I'm going to prove the vet wrong. I'm going to prove to him that I am wide receiver one. Instead of crying about it on Twitter, then you're going to social media like a 2-year-old. What are you going to social media for? So instead of calling the guy and saying, hey, I didn't like what you said, or even getting context, he didn't even say it in a bad way. If you watch the damn interview, he literally said, hey, I think that we could benefit from getting another edge in here and another wide receiver one. There was nothing wrong with what he said. If you have an entire team and you have 2 weaknesses in your entire team with all the positions in football, that means it's a pretty damn good team. Nothing wrong with what he said. And he also mentioned several times, I like the guys that we have. So stop being soft. And this is my issue with Gen Z, just to wrap the video up. All these Gen Z players now are soft. You know, you got Caleb Williams out here talking about some, I don't really see the difference between Jaden Daniels and myself. How? Jaden Daniels wins. You lose. Jaden Daniels was better than you in pretty much every single statistical category. Jaden Daniels won 2 playoff games as a rookie. What did you do? Beat the Packers at the end of the year in a game where they pulled their starters. Outside of that, you did nothing. So what do you mean you don't see the difference? You see the difference. You just don't want to acknowledge it because you have a fragile ego. Same thing with Malik Neighbors. He's out here, I don't know what to tell you because the coach not drawing up plays for me and I'm not getting the ball. And, and you're out here praising other teams and all this other crap. Malik Neighbors is one of the most targeted receivers in the league. I don't want to hear you crying and complaining about how you're not getting the ball. You got the ball more than anyone else on the team. Shut up, play football. Just play football. You only stop whining, stop throwing the coach under the bus. No one wants to hear that. You haven't done enough. Just shut up. You're not accomplished enough to be running your mouth. This is my problem with the Gen Z players. Do something and then run your mouth. All these guys want to come in the league, accomplish nothing, and just start talking. No one wants to hear what you have to say. The fact that Dontavion Wicks and Jayden Reed even think they have the right to come out and say anything in opposition to what Josh Jacobs is saying shows me that there's a problem. They shouldn't even feel like they should be able to do that because they can't. You have nothing to say to that man. He's a veteran. He's better than you. It's not close. So you shut up and you say, yes, sir. That's how that goes. When that man goes to practice, you should be carrying his helmet. Simple as that. And that leads into my last thoughts, which goes to Matt LaFleur, who doesn't seem to have control of this team. Matt LaFleur at times could be the best schemer in the NFL. At other times, he could be one of the worst schemers in the NFL. But I also think he's in over his head. I think he needs to hire someone to actually run the offense and just focus on being the head coach. Because I think he's so locked in with the offense. He's so locked in with Jordan Love and the wide receivers and, just being an offensive coordinator, he forgets to be a head coach. All right, because this is a moment where a head coach is supposed to put his big boy briefs on, and he's supposed to sit down these younger players, and he's supposed to say to them, hey, listen, shut up. All Josh Jacobs said is, I think we could benefit from this help. This is a veteran. This is a leader. He's better than all of you, and none of you should be saying anything. And if you do have something to say, then we can have a team meeting, or you can call them in, and we can talk about it. But you shouldn't be on social media posting about anything that has to do with the team, really at all. Honestly, you just shouldn't. You didn't see Jordan Love doing that. You didn't see anyone else doing that. You didn't see Rashawn Gary doing that. And to me, that was a microcosm of what the problem with the Packers are. They're inconsistent because they're young. They need more veteran leadership. And some of that needs to come from their coach, who acts like he wants to be everyone's best friend instead of just calling it what it is. Listen, you guys are mid. That's just the reality. I gave you a chance to prove you can do this thing. And this year, you did not get it done. So now, yes, we're looking at bringing other people in. You don't like it? Play better. You're mad? Get off the team. It should be that simple, and there shouldn't be a back and forth. But again, that will require Matt LaFleur dropping his nuts, which he seems to not want to do a lot of the time. So that's my thoughts on that. Josh Jacobs said nothing wrong. He's completely right. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm out. Peace.